أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين، صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة، ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الإمام الرضا عليه السلام لابن شبيب: إن المحرم شهر كان أهل الجاهلية يحرمون فيه القتال، فاستحلت فيه دماؤنا وهتكت فيه حرمتنا، وسبي فيه ذرارينا ونساؤنا، وأذرمت النيران في مضربنا، وانتهب ما فيها من ثقلنا، ولم ترعى لرسول الله حرمة في أمرنا. إن يوم الحسين أقرح جفوننا وأسبل دموعنا، وأذل عزيزنا بأرض كرب وبلاء، وأورثنا الكرب والبلاء إلى يوم الانقضاء. فعلى مثل الحسين فليبكي الباكون، فإن البكاء عليه يحط الذنوب العظام. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يتقبل منا بقبول حسن، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. يقول الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما محمد إلا رسول قد خلت من قبله الرسل أفإن مات أو قتل انقلبتم على أعقابكم ومن ينقلب على عقبيه فلن يضر الله شيئا وسيجزي الله الشاكرين. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Respected brothers and sisters, we are in the month of Muharram. This month there are two groups of people. Group one are those who celebrate the beginning of the new year, Islamic year 1445 AH. There are some countries they use not to celebrate New Year, but for some reasons there are people who are active in talking about promoting the celebration of New Year. For them, New Year is the year of celebration. I really don't know whether celebration is a good thing, because what are you celebrating? Are you celebrating because number of days in your life are diminishing? Are you celebrating for that? Or are you celebrating for what have you achieved? Year, you don't bring it. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who makes the years to come and go. So what is the celebration? However, group number two, we and the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, According to the narration, Imam al-Ridha, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. When he was talking to one of his companions, Ibn Shabib, he told him clearly the gist of what Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam said. O Ibn Shabib, Muharram is the month. In the time of Jahiliyyah, the era of Jahiliyyah, even those people during the time of Jahiliyyah, before the coming of Rasulullah, Rasulul Islam, the last and final messenger, people of Jahiliyyah used to honor the month of Muharram. If they were fighting amongst themselves, they used to stop fighting because of Muharram. They would honor this month. But unfortunately, came a group of people who decided to cause pain to Rasulullah. They caused pain to the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. They killed the grandson of Rasulullah, Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. So Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam says, this is not the month for us to celebrate. It is the month which made us to shed tears when we remember what happened to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala. Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam says clearly, when we remember the month of Muharram, then we remember that women were taken as captives. The tents of women used to stay in were lit in fire. Many of companions were killed. Aba Abdullah was beheaded. When I was talking about beheading recently, when we were preparing our youngsters for the month of Muharram, I used the word beheaded. Wallah, one young girl, maybe the age of 5 or 6, she looked at me and she said, after finishing the talk, what do you mean by beheading? What is beheading? Innocently, the question was asked. I said, sorry, I thought I'm using the language which you can understand. Beheading means Imam Hussein's head was separated from the body. He was slaughtered and the head separated from the body. This young girl cried. What about us when we hear about the story of Karbala? So every Muharram comes, Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam says, it's not the month which we celebrate. It is the month we cry. And he says, for the example of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, let people shed tears. Do not stop your tears. Cry for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And it is those tears which will clean you from the sins which you have committed. This is Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam. Now, there's a point here. Before we go into the main discussion, all Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, they used to mourn for the shahada, the martyrdom, the killing of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. All of them. Imam Ali cried for Imam Hussein before Imam Hussein was killed in Karbala. Where did he get this? From Rasulullah. Rasulullah cried for Imam Hussein before he was killed. Why? Because Jibreel came to Rasulullah one day and he said, O Messenger of Allah, your grandson Hussein, do you love him? He said, of course. He said, but I'm sorry to tell you that your grandson will be killed. And if you want, I can show you even the land which he will be killed in. And of course, he brought the sand of Karbala, Turba to Karbala. And he said, this is where your grandson will be killed. Rasulullah cried. He gave that sand to Salama, wife of Rasulullah. Rasulullah said, keep it in a bottle. When you will see this sand is mixed with blood, know that my grandson Hussein has been killed in Karbala. Rasulullah cried for Hussein. Salama cried for Hussein. The mother of Hussein, Zahra, cried for Hussein. Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba cried for Hussein. Imam Zainul Abidin was in Karbala. Of course, it was difficult for him. Every time he remembered about what happened in Karbala, he cried. Imam al-Baqir, same thing. He was a baby in Karbala, 2 or 3 years of age. He cried for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Imam Sadiq used to set majalis, to organize majalis, and he used to choose the people who have good voice to recite Masa'ib of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Imam Musa al-Kadhim, same thing. Imam Rida, we have had, he used to cry. And all A'imma alayhimus salam. So when we sit down to remember Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and we cry for his martyrdom, this is the sunnah. Sunnah of Rasulullah. Sunnah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So for you to participate in these majalis, you follow sunnah of Rasulullah. You follow sunnah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. You leave whatever you have for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Know for sure Abu Abdullah al-Hussein will be with you. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to attend and participate in the majalis of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, because there is a great reward fi dunya wal akhirah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fulfill that with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The ayah which I have recited is in Surah Al Imran, ayah number 144. Surah number 3, ayah 144. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ. Muhammad was not but a messenger. قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. Messengers pass after him, or messengers came before him and they passed away. أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ. If Rasulullah dies, natural death, أَوْ قُتِلَ, or is going to be killed, إِنْ قَلَبْتُمْ عَلَىٰ أَعْقَابِكُمْ. Will you turn back on your heads? Will you turn back to Jahiliyyah? Will you leave Islam? Allah says, وَمَنْ يَنْقَلِبَ عَلَىٰ عَقِبَيْهِ فَلَنْ يَضُرَّ اللَّهَ شَيْئًا. Anyone who turns his head back to Jahiliyyah, he leaves Islam, he will not cause any damage to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَسَيَجْزِ اللَّهُ الشَّاكِرِينَ. And Allah will reward the shakirin, the people who thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his bounties. What does the ayah say? That Rasulullah, Allah says, Ya Rasulullah, you are alive, but you may be killed or you may die a natural death. Here we have scholars who say, Rasulullah was killed because of the ayah. 144 surah number 3. There is an opinion by some scholars say Rasulullah did not die natural death. He was killed. He was poisoned according to the ayah. Other scholars say no, Rasulullah died a natural death. Whether he was killed or he died a natural death, the ayah says about inqilab ala al-a'qab, that there will be people who will leave the Islamic religion. There will be people who, after the death of the Holy Prophet, will go back to Jahiliyyah. Today, our talk is about 50 years after the martyrdom, after the death of Rasulullah. 50 years. What happened? 50 years. Let's look at 50 years in our majlis tonight. Rasulullah died 28th of Safar, year 11 AH. While his body is being prepared in his house, a group of people gathered in a place by the name Saqifa. Saqifa is an assembly. It's like a hall. Call it majlis, of a tribe or clan, Bani Sa'ida. They gathered there. These were Al-Ansar, the helpers, Muslims of Medina. They wanted to find someone to be their leader. And they wanted to make someone by the name Sa'ad bin Ubadah Al-Ansari to be their leader. Some people took the news to Abu Bakr and Umar. Umar got the news. He went to Abu Bakr and he said, oh Abu Bakr, you know what happened? Saqifa, there is a group who is gathering there. They want to elect their leader. Let's go. Rasulullah's body is in the house. They left. They went Saqifa. They found Sa'ad bin Ubadah Al-Ansari is about to be made the leader of Al-Ansar, the people of Medina. The debate started there. Umar talking to Sa'ad bin Ubadah and other people, give and take. Foul language was used. People used bad language. Even they wanted to kill one another. Until Umar said to Abu Bakr, raise your hand so that we can choose you as a leader. I'm summarizing the story. Abu Bakr was chosen by Umar and few people to be Khalifa. They accepted him. They came to Masjid. Campaign is going on. You are the leader. You, what can we call you? Now they are searching for the name. A leader after Rasulullah. What can we give you as a title? Now they thought until they said, okay, Khalifa. You will be known as Khalifa to Rasulullah. He became Khalifa. While the campaign is going on, the burial of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is going on, they did not participate in burying Rasulullah. This is a fact which you can find in the books of history. 2 years Abu Bakr led Muslims. Few issues happened. Because of time, I'll summarize. Few issues happened. One of the biggest issue happened during the time, the Khilafah of Abu Bakr. Some people left Islam. They said, how can we remain as Muslims while we see the things are different compared to the time of Rasulullah? They left Islam. Abu Bakr fought against them. He killed a number of them. And while he was searching for those, there was another group who said, we are not going to give you zakah. Because zakah has to be given to the Khalifa, true Khalifa of Rasulullah. You are not the Khalifa of Rasulullah. We are not going to support you. We remember Ghadir. Man kuntu mawla, fahadha aliyun mawla. Whomsoever was the mawla of Rasulullah, Ali is their mawla, the leader. They said, we are not going to give you zakah. They were fought, they were killed, including Malik bin Nuwaira and the companions of Malik bin Nuwaira. Abu Bakr led for 2 years, then he passed away. After him, before he died, he appointed Umar to be the Khalifa. Umar came to power. He ruled Muslim for 10 years. 10 years in power. The most thing what he did is what they call, in English they call it expansion. To expand Islam. Islam to go beyond Makkah and Medina and Ta'if and Tabuk and other places. Islam reached Iraq and other places. And this, what they call it, al-futuhat. Some of our scholars, they don't accept the idea that you can invade other country in order for them to become Muslims. And the Quran is very clear. La ikraha fid din. You cannot force people to become Muslims. Expansion. What is expansion? You invade other people's country to make them Muslims. Rasulullah didn't do that. If it is not the sunnah of Rasulullah, where did you get this? And that's why Imam Amirul Mu'minin did not participate in these what they call expansion. Umar ruled for 10 years. After he was injured, he decided to select a group of 6 people. And these 6 people should elect one of them to become Khalifa. Of course, Uthman was one of them. Ali bin Abi Talib another one. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas another one. Abdul Rahman bin Auf another one. Talha bin Ubaidillah and Zubair ibn al-Awwam. 6. But he said to Abdul Rahman bin Auf, you will be the chairman of this group. You, whatever you see, that's okay. You choose anyone amongst them, he will become Khalifa. Abdul Rahman said to Uthman, before Uthman, Ali, you are ready to become Khalifa of Muslims? Amirul Mu'minin said, of course. He said, but there are conditions. Condition number 1, you have to rule Muslims according to Quran. Number 2, according to Sunnah of Rasulullah. Number 3, according to the Sunnah of Abu Bakr and Umar. Amirul Mu'minin said, no, I'm not ready. Quran, yes. Sunnah of Rasulullah, yes. Sunnah of Shaykhan, where can we find this in the Holy Quran or in the narrations of Rasulullah? I'm not ready. The same question was posed to Uthman and he said, yes, I will rule according to these conditions. He became Khalifa because the chairman Abdurrahman bin Auf decided to make him Khalifa. Uthman ruled Muslim for 12 years. The biggest issue and problem which he made, number one, he selected people from Bani Umayyah. He himself was Bani Umayyah. They became the governors, the leaders, the ones who rule Islam in different cities. And then when Uthman was killed, Muslims did not have any way except to return to Amirul Mu'mineen Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam. He became not only the Imam, all the time he was the Imam, but now he was made as Khalifa. And Imam Amirul Mu'mineen said clearly to them, Da'uni waltamisu ghayri. Don't come to me. Go find another one whom you want to give your conditions. Go find him, not me. But they say we don't have anyone except you. So it is like they force him to become Khalifa. He said, I will become your Khalifa, but I will rule you according to the book of Allah, Sunnah of Rasulullah, and my understanding of Quran and Sunnah. And if any one of you took any money from Baytul Mal, from Islamic treasure, you will have to return it. Even if you paid a dowry to marry a woman, you will have to return that money to the Baytul Mal. And this caused him a lot of trouble. Trouble number one, there was a guy by the name Muawiyah. This Muawiyah was made as a governor of Sham by Umar at the time when Umar was Khalifa. He remained in Sham 10 years of Umar, 12 years of Uthman. For 20 years he was in Sham. He prepared for himself to become Khalifa. Not only that, king of Sham. And that's why sometimes when you talk to people, they call him King Muawiyah. Why? There is a hadith in Musnad Ahmad which says the Khilafah Ar-Rashida will be for 30 years and then there will be kingdom. Allah will choose anyone to become a king. Of course, Rasulullah didn't say that, but they claim that it is a hadith. And Muawiyah came to be a rebel. He fought against Imam Ali. Can you imagine? You are the president of a country. Your ambassador, you tell him, come back. I don't want you to rule. Come back. And your ambassador said, I'm not going to come back. I'm going to stay where I am. Because why? The previous president made me to become ambassador, so I'm not going to listen to you. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, no, you don't have that right. And that's why the battles happen. Number one, Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam faced with the rebels of people of Jamal, the army which was led by Lady Aisha, wife of Rasulullah. Number two, the battle of Siffin, which was led by Muawiyah. In it, Ammar bin Yasir was killed. Battle number three, Naharawan. The people who became rebels, they did not want to listen to Amirul Mu'mineen. Ali alayhi salam ruled for about 5 years, but he was not kept safe and he was not allowed to rule properly. He was the one who moved the capital city of Islam from Medina to the city of Kufa. Why? Because there people understood politics better than Makkah and Medina. Now, when we look at this history, Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam eventually was injured and he was killed as a shaheed. His son Hussein, Imam Hassan, came to power, but Muawiyah targeted him. Eventually Imam Hassan was killed. And when Muawiyah was about to die, he appointed his son Yazid to become Khalifa. And you know the story that it was Yazid who engineered and gave order for Imam Abi Abdullah al-Hussein to be killed in Karbala in the year 61 AH. Remember, 50 years after the death of the Holy Prophet, 50 years, Islam of Rasulullah was not the Islam which he left. 50 years, everything was changed. Don't talk about 150, 250, 255 when Imam Sahibul Asri wa Zaman was born, everything was changed. Ahlul Bayt here now, they are trying to preserve Islam al-Muhammadi. But at the same time, you find other people want to bring their ideology into Islam. That's why Karbala happened. So now when we talk about people, it's people. People regarding whatever happened after Rasulullah are divided into the following groups. Group number one, Amirul Mu'minin calls them Hamaj. You and me, in our language, we call them sheep. They follow. One sheep in front, others will follow. They don't think. Imam alayhi salam says these are like the flag. The wind blows, the flag will go according to the wind. And these are the majority. Quran says do not follow the majority. The evidence, وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لِلْحَقِّ كَارِهُونَ. But many people, they don't know. Many people, they don't follow the truth. Islam is not the religion which you can say we follow the majority. No. Islam is the religion. Do you have evidence? Follow the truth. And that's why in the Battle of Jamal, someone was confused. Those sheep. He followed Aisha in the Battle of Jamal. But then something clicked into his mind. You know, we have fitra. Sometimes when you do something wrong, you yourself, you can tell yourself, here, I think something is wrong. He came to Amirul Mu'minin and he said, oh Ali bin Abi Talib, I see you here. You are fighting with that lady Aisha. You are the cousin of Rasulullah. She is the wife of Rasulullah. Which group can I follow? I want to know the truth. Amirul Mu'minin says, no, don't look at me or her. Find where the truth is and follow it. And here we have problem. Many people follow names, follow figures. They follow majority. That's not Islam. Group number two, those people who stand on the fence. Let's see what will happen. If they win, we'll go with them. If they lose, we will leave them. And this as well, their number is big. And then there is a number of people who are munafiqun. Never forget munafiqin. We have Surah Al-Munafiqun in the Holy Quran. وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَهُمْ تُعْجِبُكَ أَجْسَامُهُمْ وَإِن يَقُولُوا تَسْمَعْ لِقَوْلِهِمْ كَأَنَّهُمْ خُشُبٌ مُسَنَّدَةٌ. These munafiqun were very active. When you look at them, they attract you. Their bodies are so good. You say, wow, look at them. If they speak, they are so eloquent. And they are the enemies, take them like that. Munafiqun are still active within our community societies up to today. And they were part and parcel of killing Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. And then we have the true believers. True believers are few. These are the minorities. True believers are few in number. Because why? They follow evidences, they don't follow the majority. It is these who are few who follow the truth, we need to be with them. How many people were with Abu Abdullah in Karbala? How many of them? 72. 100. Give them number 100. Do you want to tell me the whole Muslim community, Makkah, Medina, Sham, Iraq itself, and even some part of Iran, 72? 100 people? Abu Abdullah, grandson of Rasulullah? What does it mean? Those were the people who decided to follow the truth. These are Ammar bin Yasir with Amirul Mu'minin, Salman al-Muhammadi, Miqdad ibn al-Aswad, Abu Dharr al-Ghifari, those who are known as Shi'at of Amirul Mu'minin. They stood with Abu Abdullah, those who remained alive. And it is because of that, even up to today, when you look at the majority are not with Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. The killing happened because majority of people decided not to follow the truth. Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was killed in Karbala. That was a tragedy. And we will continue to analyze whatever happened in order for us to know the truth. However, the calamity happened. When Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, Allah decreed for him to be killed as a shaheed. You know the musibah not only in Karbala. Musibah doesn't start in Karbala. We see the musibah when the mother Zahra was attacked. Zahra was attacked at her house. When Amirul Mu'mineen was outside the house and the house was attacked, Zahra Fatima binti Rasulillah, the queen of her time, she was attacked. The door was hit. She was injured. She was pregnant at that time. She had that miscarry. Fatima, her rib was broken. She cried because of that. But it was Fatima who cried for Hussein before Hussein was killed in Karbala. But the question which we are asking ourselves, oh Fatima, when you were attacked, oh Fatima, when you were attacked and when your rib was broken, oh Fatima, when we remember Karbala, and when we remember the body of Abu Abdullah is on the ground, when Umar bin Saad gave the order for the body of Abu Abdullah to be trampled, to be crushed by the hooves of the horses, oh Fatima, can we remember your rib? Oh, can we remember the chest of Abu Abdullah? Oh Fatima, of course your musibah was a great tragedy. But when we remember that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, when he was buried, his body was not intact. Oh Fatima, oh the mother of Hussein, Amirul Mu'mineen, your husband buried you where he buried you. Your body was with the head. Oh Mother Fatima, can we tell you that when Hussein was buried, his body was without head? Oh Fatima, oh Fatima, when you were buried, Ali was there, Hassan was there, Hussein was there. But oh Fatima, when Abu Abdullah was buried, Ali was not there, you are not there, Hassan was not there. It was only few people who attended the burial of Abu Abdullah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ala Muhammadin. Wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ala Muhammadin. Ayya munqalabin yanqalibun wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. Ya Allah, we ask you bi barakatil Hussein. There are many people who have asked us to pray for them, and those who have needs, Ya Allah, fulfill their hajat. Ya Allah, bi barakatil Hussein, there are few brothers and sisters who are not well. Cure them bi barakatil Hussein, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Allahumma shafi kulla marid bi barakatil Hussein. Ya Allah, we ask you our children, Ya Allah, keep them to be among the lovers of Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Ya Allah, allow us to go for the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah in Karbala, and allow us to attain his shafa'a yawm al-wurud bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi tayyibin at-tahirin. Rahimallahu man qara al-Fatiha ma'a as-salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.